everybody, Heather from Hooked on Pickin. We are in our old space. We're actually recording this at home in the old Hooked on Pickin building. Just to give you an idea, this is now the she shed for the kids. So it's like their hangout. We got couches, all that stuff. We still have some stuff stored back in the corner, but it's some overflow from Hooked on Pickin, and it's also like our own personal stuff. They have a big TV to hang out over here, but it's a really nice big hangout space for them. And so when they say, can we invite friends over? We invite friends over.
Should we show them the snack shelf?
Sure. Pretty much the kids raid that whenever they're here.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it's a really nice place for them to invade the house without invading the house. So, I think this has everything except for a bathroom. So we see them occasionally when their friends come over. All right, so we're here and we're going to go over the antique mall numbers. You guys have been asking, how is the flea market doing, things like that. What I wanted to tell you is that it is called St. Clair Antique Mall, and that actually is SCAM. And so when we write our checks, they literally like, you can write scam. It's not a scam though. We actually have made money, and we're going to kind of walk through the process of how we set everything up and why we made different amounts in each month and what we think the reason is for that. And then we're going to kind of show you what does it look like when we get our tickets back from our sales and things like that. We're also going to discuss a promotional that we're going to do to get up to that 100,000 subscriber mark. And so we'll be sharing that all in this video. All right, so you heard me talk about the fact that we really want to get up to 100,000 subscribers. We're really hoping that maybe we could do that over the next few months. And so we're at currently 92,000 subscribers. And since it's an election year, I just feel the need to buy your votes.
Sounds like a good Illinoisan right there.
I'm being a good politician, I guess. All right. What I mean by that is we really just want to reward you for being amazing subscribers. And so since we're at 92,000 subscribers, every 1,000 subscribers that we gain, we're going to draw that number of people to win some gift cards. So, for instance, once we hit 93,000, we're going to draw 3 names for a gift card to Hooked on Pickin. And then when we hit 94,000, we're going to draw 4 names, 95,000, 5 names, and so on, all the way up to 100,000. And when we hit the 100,000, we'll actually draw 10 names. Then you're thinking, oh yeah, gift card, yeah, no biggie, whatever. Guess how much the gift card is going to be? $100. We're giving away $100 to regular subscribers that regularly comment on our videos and regularly buy on hookedonpickin.com. So you definitely have to be a hookedonpickin.com customer in order to get the gift card, because then we have your customer account information. And then you have to be a Hooked on Pickin YouTube subscriber in order to win. But our goal is, the minute we hit each 1,000 mark, we're definitely going to be giving away those. We'll show the drawing on a video so you can see who won, and we'll go ahead and announce those names. And then you will get an email with that $100 gift card to hookedonpickin.com in your email inbox. So make sure all your account information is up to date so you can get all that. But it's just kind of like our way of saying thank you. So you as subscribers now need to say, hey, I'm going to share this with a bazillion friends because I might be able to win a gift card, and you're just helping to support our channel and our family and all the rest of our customers that love to watch us on YouTube. So it's just kind of an extra bonus. I'll talk about that a little bit more, but we're here for the antique mall numbers. And so we have only had it for 2 months. We've only gotten basically 2 paychecks from our antique mall, and yes, we did get paychecks. We did make a profit. Some people, when we first started this, asked, okay, you're doing your Hooked on Pickin business and you're shipping everything around the world. Are you not going backwards doing a flea market? But I think what we did was we just opened up another customer base for ourselves, and it's one that we don't really have to maintain because we're not manning the door. And so other than the hours it takes to just drive there and drop some stuff off and tag the stuff, it really is not very time consuming at all. And so July, what we're going to do is go through the top 5, and actually we have two number 5s on our list of each month because we have ties. And so we're going to go through the top 5 sales and what they were on each month. And then we're going to go through how much profit we made, how much it costs for the booth, for rent, and how much we paid in commissions to the antique mall, and then how many total items we sold, and then also kind of what went on that month to kind of make the profits or gains makes sense. All right, so one of the things that we sold, we're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 as far as what sold. So number 5 on our July list was a hot sauce squishmallow. And that sold at the Antique Mall for $19.99. Now remember, we do pay commissions to the Antique Mall. It's usually anywhere from 10 to 20% based on the price. And so usually anything under $25, it's only a 10% fee. Anything over $25, sometimes it's a 20% fee if they get an extra discount from the Antique Mall. And so that's kind of all. We get a whole itemized sheet when we get it, so it's really cool. So hot sauce squishmallow, you're like, that doesn't sound like antiques at all. When we were first setting up our booth, they said, listen, we want you to set up some antiques and vintage items, but it's fine if you want to occasionally add some brand new items, because kids come in there with their parents and they're bored, so we sold a squishmallow. So you've actually seen that hot sauce squishmallow. It's one we've sold before at Hooked on Pickin. And then another number 5, because we had another $19.99 item, is a smoke alarm cutting board. And it was a cutting board that actually Rylan engraved for us. Now Riley does all of our engraving, but it was one that said, I cook so great, even the smoke alarm cheers me on. It was one of those round cutting boards. And so we sold one of those for $19.99. So we do have quite a bit of our wooden engraved items there. If you've seen any of the flea market pictures, you will have seen them. And I would do my best to maybe show some of these pictures while we're doing this video, but I don't know which ones I'll be able to find. All right, number 3, we're going to go up, sorry, not 3, number 4. I can count, really. Number 4, we're going to kind of keep going up in number for top sales. So this one was a paperweight. I'm going to just do PW for paperweight to make it easier. And then it was a blue and gold. I'm kind of writing on an angle, but You're
doing a great job.
Turtle. That's why I couldn't be a teacher. Don't know how to write on a whiteboard. All right, blue and gold turtle, and we sold it for, believe it or not, $44.99. And so right there you can kind of see this is the antique side of it. They want things that are a lot more collectible. So a paperweight that's blue and gold turtle, which is awesome because I didn't have to ship a paperweight and it didn't break in shipping. So that's another awesome thing, is none of these things had to be shipped. So that also takes some energy out of some effort we don't have to do. All right, and then number 3, we also had another $44.99 item, another paperweight, and this one was a glow-in-the-dark octopus paperweight, and that one was $44.99. So we've got those. So glow-in-the-dark octopus there for $44.99. I'm going to do this here. This will make it easier to write down here. And then number 2 top sellers, another paperweight, believe it or not. This one is an octopus with fish swimming in it. And so it was an octopus one with fish, and this one was $49.99. And then our number 1 seller in July was a flower wind spinner. And we actually are listing some of our wind spinners back online because the summer season is over for our retail space. So we actually did put a few more online. So if you want those, go to Hop or Hooked on Pickin. $89.99 is what we sold it for there. And so those are kind of our top 5 for July. And so I wanted to kind of show you those numbers. We're going to go over a new August as well. But I think what I might do, I'm going to give you the top 5 for August. And then we're going to go through the breakdown of numbers of cost and fees and all that stuff.
Love it.
Just to kind of let you know all that stuff. All right, so number 5, we have 2 number 5s on August as well.
Any takeaways from July before you get into it?
Yes. So July, we were really actually surprised because July we were very surprised because kind of the way that it started was Paul went in, he was shopping this antique mall, and he thought, you know what, I see a lot of empty booths. I wonder how long it would take for us to get a booth, or could we get a booth? I think Lexi was even with you that day. And so, because she was learning to pick. And so we went in there, and the lady said, 3 to 4 months. Well, unbeknownst to us, 2 weeks later, we got a phone call. So the first month we were unprepared to have enough stuff stacked up. We had just started stacking up a couple of things. I think we maybe had like 5 things, because it was only 2 weeks had gone by, and we had this tote started that we're like, this would be perfect, flea market. This is breakable. We don't want to ship it, that kind of stuff. And so we didn't have a lot of stuff set up for it when we set up our booth. And so when we initially set up our booth, that's why you see kind of some of the things you've seen us sell. Like the wind spinner is obviously something we sold on Hooked on Pickin. It's not vintage antique-y. It's not anything that we would pick from an auction or anything like that. And so we didn't have as much stuff in July. We also went on vacation 2 weeks in July, and so that affected a little bit of how we could get there and refill the store. The first couple weeks of July, we probably only had 60 to 150 items in the booth at a time. And then once we hit kind of the middle of July, and we were back from all our traveling, then we really hit it hard, put up some extra shelving in there, that kind of stuff, and we ended up having about, I think, what did we say, about 200-ish items by the end of the month. And so when we get our sheet, it even shows that we have more sales towards the end of the month. Well, there's also days in there that they're closed. So like 4th of July, they were not open. And other holidays, they're not open. So that's kind of what I wanted to kind of share for that. Did I miss anything, Paul?
No, you're great.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and go over August. I'm going to give you total numbers on how much we made each month and what's actually profit. So August, one of the top 5, we also have 2 top 5s again. Like I said, we have a blue-green small turtle paperweight. And that one sold for $19.99.
I think we're seeing a theme.
Yes, they love their paperweights, don't they? Yes. And then we have, this one was really cool. So you can tell the story on this. I'm going to tell you what it is, and then Paul can tell the story. So the other number 5 that was kind of tied is we have a stacked pumpkin decor. It was a wooden stacked pumpkin. It just wooden piece stood kind of in a doorway with like a large, medium, and small pumpkin kind of stacked, and it was carved. So tell them kind of why we even have that.
What I do, because I go picking on occasion, probably about once a week I'll hit this antique mall. And now that we have a booth, when I go in, I just ask the ladies. They're pretty kind ladies that are there, and now that we have a booth, they're a little bit more chipper with Heather and I, you know. And so we talk to them, and every time I go in, I'm like, hey, what's selling? And they will, every time they give me something, they're like, hey, do you have any records? For whatever reason, records was selling well. Apparently, we're close to St. Louis, so there was a big art festival going on where everybody was coming and buying records for who knows what. I don't know why, but they were. And then that one was simply, they said, hey, do you got any fall decor? So I'm like, yeah, I do have a couple pieces. So
so this one was a kind of a neat piece, just kind of like antique-y looking and vintage looking. So we sold that for $19.99. All right, here's our number 4 seller. This one was, we put this in the antique mall because it was really huge and difficult to ship. So this one was a mosaic marble tray.
It was awesome. But it would have broke so badly in shipping.
And we ended up, I think it was like this big, and it had like marbles in the tray, like polyurethane in the tray or whatever. And then so $29.99 is what we sold that for. All right, and then number 3 top sale for August is again a paperweight.
They like them paperweights.
And then wait a second, did I do this wrong? I totally skipped one.
Did you skip one?
Yeah, the mosaic marble tray is supposed to be down here because I was like, wait a minute, my numbers don't match. All right, hold on. Tray, $29.99. All right.
You're doing good, Heather.
So number 4 actually was not the tray. The number 4 is actually, this was a really cool thing, and you probably saw it in some of our beginner pictures. It was a bell wind chime that had dragonflies on it, and it was shaped kind of like a tree, but it had these really cool brass-looking bells, so it was a dragonfly. Yeah,
that was one of those things that we had on hookedonpickin.com, and we just couldn't get it to sell. We sold like a couple on a fire sale, and but boom, they bought it right almost as soon as we put it there. So
we bought it we sold it for $24.99, and then we did the mosaic marble tray at $29.99. But yeah,
Gotcha.
that one was really cool. It really caught your eye, and I knew it was going to sell there. We also did set up a wind chime stand in the corner of our booth, and so we do have a lot of wind chimes there as well. And so that was kind of neat. All right, now we'll do number 2. Number 2 is another paperweight, like I said. Paperweight, and this one was the large yellow fish. And it was like huge. It was like 3 of my hands. Yep. So, and that one sold for $39.99. All right, so that one did really well. And then last but not least, our number 1 sale in the month of August was we had this mini Gong with stand. So it was like a miniature one. So the one I hit for the auctions was like this big. This one was like literally this big, but it had a cool little like stand that went with it, and it looked really, really neat. And it sold for $69.99. So really, really cool piece. So those are kind of the top 5 things. Now, why was August? Now, you might be wondering, you feel like these numbers are a little bit lower than these. But we sold a lot less items in July than we did August. And we're going to talk about the different amounts in August. Now, August, we felt like we were up and running. We ended up adding 2 more large wooden bookcase shelving units that were kind of like offset tiered, which are really cool looking. They definitely fit the motif of the space, but we were just able to display a lot more. And that ended up really, really helping. And so we kind of ended this month at around 200 items. And then August, I would say we maintained that 200 and even kind of boosted it up to about 300 items that we had in our booth.
Yep.
Now, we will watch those items. If they sit there too long, we might swap them out, or we might just lower the price and put a new tag on them. We usually bring blank tags when we come, and sometimes we'll adjust prices when we're there.
We are trying, and any advice that you guys have about how many items that you should put in a booth. It's a good size booth. What is it, about an 8x8? Well, let's see. I'm trying to think what the size.
I would say it's probably
14 by 16.
something. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's probably fit like an 8-foot table plus another half of an 8.
Yeah.
So it's probably
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, some of you have seen the size of it. It's not bad, but some people, you walk in their booth and you can't even move. They've got hundreds of items in there, but I'm like, when I'm going through the antique mall, I won't even go in their booth.
It's scary.
I'll look, but I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna break something or whatnot. And a lot of things gets lost. It's like a Where's Waldo?
Yes.
You lose it. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to make everything very visible and seen, but that might reflect sales too. I don't know.
Well, so we do. It is. Some of our shelves are busy, but they're very eclectic. And the one thing that the ladies did tell us is when you're putting things in your booth, have a little bit of something for everybody. Don't make it all the same thing. Now, the booth that we took over from, the guy who had our section before, and he ended up just getting out of it because he was getting older and didn't want to manage the booth anymore, he had nothing but glass. It was all glass.
All glass.
A lot of it was clear glass. So it was kind of felt like the same thing. And so our booth is very different. We have a lot of different things. We do have like Squishmallows. We sold a Zombie Kittens game, some things like that were even new. But we don't have as many of those things in there. We try to keep with the antique vintage theme. But they say sometimes grandmas are in there with their grandkids or moms are in there with the kids. And so we do sell the occasional toy while we're in there. But we price them much lower.
Oh, another thing, St. Louis Cardinal stuff sells like crazy there.
Yep. Because we're so close to St. Louis,
Yep. Anything Cardinals, I just put there now.
So I'm going to go ahead and erase these, and then I'm going to write down and talk about the numbers of how much everything costs and what is our actual profit margin. Do you want to go over our fun little subscriber?
Yeah, as Heather's erasing that, if you're kind of joining us a little bit later in the video here. So we're going to try to do a YouTube promotional when it comes to trying to get up to 100,000 subscribers. We're at just over 92,000 subscribers. Thank you for everyone that has subscribed to the channel. So we get some kind of YouTube award, and that would be kind of cool to be able to have a playlist button of some sort. And so we're kind of shooting for that goal for the channel. But you guys have helped us so much. So as we are heading up there, when we hit 93,000 subscribers, we're going to give away 3 $100 gift cards to the store, to the Hooked on Pickin website. When we hit 94,000.
4.
When we hit 95,000.
5.
When we hit 96,000.
Oh no, 2 hands. 6.
When we hit 97,000.
7.
When we hit 98,000.
8.
When we hit 99,000.
9.
When we hit 100,000.
10. Sorry, I didn't put my marker somewhere. So that's our goal. Is you guys have been there to support us, and we want to kind of support you. We will do a drawing, and we will announce that every time we hit another 1,000 subscribers. Yep. So share. So that we can get.
Yeah, we're on our way because we're at like 92,000, getting close to 92,100.
Yep.
Something, So
yeah, and we just hit 92,000 like just a few days ago.
Right.
So that's been really awesome. All right, let's go over the antique mall numbers, and we'll kind of give you what our costs were and all that stuff. So costs. So these are some of our costs. We have rent. $155 every month, $155 just to keep our booth spot. Okay, we could sell nothing and we still have to pay $155. Okay, so that's kind of a built-in, have to pay it every time. Our sales for this month was sale. Oh, yeah. Hold on. What am I doing here? Sales.
You're doing great, Heather.
For this month is $486.72. Now that's before commission, okay? And then their store commission, remember I told you they might get 10% or 20%. So their store commission for this month was $48.70. So our total ended up being, we basically got a check from them for $438.02. And then we have to subtract the $155 that we paid in rent. So our grand total profit for the very first month was $283.02. And we sold a total of 29 items. So we thought that was really good. And based on the fact that, like I said, the first 2 weeks, we probably only had 60 to 100 items in there. It was looking real sparse. But then we definitely added the extra shelving by the end of July. And then we were up to about 200 items. And now we're about 2 to 3 in the month of August. And now we're into September. So, so we were just pleasantly surprised that we didn't have to man the door. We didn't have to have employees there. None of that. We did utilize some of our employees to tag some of our items and write the little tickets out, which I will show you the tickets and how they give them back and some of those things here in a minute. But that took minimal time. Like they were at Hooked on Pickin, we didn't have anything for them to do at that particular moment, or we were caught up on all of our shipping. And so we would just have Lexi or Riley sit down and they would just describe the item, put the price on it, put our booth number on it. And so I'd say, it was minimal time that we spent with that. But like I said, $283 was totally in our pocket money that we got to make from the St. Clair Antique Mall. And so anything you want to add there? It did cost us for the inventory, of course, but a lot of that, to be honest with you, we've already paid for all of it. Mm-hmm. It's stuff that we took right off hookedonpickin.com or... Like we had already made up what we paid for the shipment, and so everything was going to be profit.
Yep. It was just one other way to sell it, so it's been good.
Yep. So I think this shows right here we just opened up to a new market of people. The St. Clair Antique Mall is in a much higher populated area, closer to St. Louis, and so that really helps.
Yep. If it helps you, were you going to talk about it?
Our little town is only 3,700 people where we have our store, and so our foot traffic is, if we get 8 customers a day, we're elated. That's a huge busy day for us. Here, you will see 8 customers walk in 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah. It's constantly busy. It's
constantly busy every time we're going there to put stuff in. You want to get in and out as fast as possible because you don't want to be in the customer's way to come into your booth.
Right.
So, all right, let's go ahead and go over August's numbers. So our costs in August, we've got rent, won't change, $155. And then our sales for August is going to be $715.55. You can obviously tell we got more stuff. We sold more stuff. And we were not on vacation in the month of August. We stayed home, and we were able to kind of manage the booth and fill the booth. And we, like I said, we built more, some shelving and stuff. Like I think that's when we had James. James built another bookshelf for us. All right, so we had that. Their commission was, it was $71.60. My sevens are wonky looking. There we go. $71.60. And then, so that brings us our total to, we've got a total of $643.95. All right, then we're going to take off our $155 for a profit of, oops, what in the world is that doing? For a profit of $488.95. So obviously, almost double what we did the first month, because we sold 45 items that month. So just the fact that we had more stuff in the booth shows that we definitely can, that direct correlation of we manned our booth better, we changed stuff out better, we added more shelving, it made it much more interesting. And so one thing too that somebody said, and it was really good advice, is somebody said, when you have a booth, if you have some kind of seating in your booth, because sometimes husbands are there with their wives, or wives are there with their husbands, they get tired, they want to sit down while they're walking around. We actually took one of our benches. Now we do have the bench for sale in the antique booth, but the bench, we have often come in to put things in our booth, and there'll be somebody sitting in it. And we have the bench situated so you have to sit on the bench and look at all the things in our booth. We do not have it facing outward to look at other booths. We have it facing inward, so they come in, and we usually always see people sitting there, and which is really cool, because then they look at the stuff and they see something they didn't see before, and they had to have it. So really cool. You can see the direct correlation, about double, well, not quite double the amount of items sold, but almost double the amount of profits there. So far we're doing really good. And like I said, we don't have to man the door. We don't have to pay the employees.
Don't have to ship the item.
Don't have to ship the item. So it's just another avenue to bring in more sales for our company, and to be able to move some things that we don't want to ship. Yes.
So we have this antique mall, and another one just opened up literally down the street from our store.
Like 2 miles.
And
we've seen an uptick in our store.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've ever done this. Paul does this a lot. But when he goes and picks thrift stores, he goes to a place where he knows there's multiple thrift stores, and he hits all of them in the area. So now that there's another, this one is called White Barn something. White Barn Antiques and Mercantile or something. And so they go to the White Barn, and then they come to see Hooked on Pickin'. Or they go to Hooked on Pickin'. Like, one lady came into our store thinking it was the White Barn place. Mm-hmm. And so we're actually picking up a few more customers in our little town, because that one opened up. And so we're actually going to look and see, do they have booths available in that place, and would it be fitting for the types of stuff that we sell. Not every place. We've actually looked at another place here in Trenton that the motif was not our style. It didn't work with our stuff, and it wouldn't, like, our booth wouldn't have fit in that location. So we're going to check that White Barn place. We might have another one just down the road where we can also do the same thing, since we know we can already be profitable. Now, flip side, it is still in the small town, but maybe just a different style of selling might work a little bit better for us. So we have really good numbers for July and August. We're going to probably try to, about every 2 to 3 months, give you an update on our numbers. I did tease you in telling you that we were going to show you the little cards and how we get the cards and some of that kind of stuff. So
good.
I'm gonna go ahead and grab this little.
They're on the table over there.
Yeah, well, I've got a little.
Oh, you want to do that way?
Yeah,
sure.
This will work right here. So you want to kind of lean down here. So this is how we get our cards. We write the description. This is what we write on the cards, and this is our booth number. And this is how we get them. They give it basically an envelope to us, and so we know what the item was. This is a Longaberger basket. Knick Knock was the name of it, and then we sold it for $9.99.
I wrote that. That was actually Knick Knack.
Oh,
but
gotcha.
Or Knick Knock. I'm
one
good
thing
with Knick
that's
Knock.
really cool too is this one was one of Dad's items that we were able to also sell there. So, but we don't put a ton of his stuff there. It's mostly our stuff. Here's a air mobility coasters. This one I wrote. This was a game that was a brand new game.
Yep.
And that's the name of it.
This is a game I found at Savers. If you guys know where the Savers is.
Like a thrift store.
I was like, I think I picked it up for $3 or something, but it was still sealed. I didn't know anything about the game, but that sold within a couple of days. This is Air Mobility Command set of 4 coasters. We're close to Scott Air Force Base, so we see a lot of Air Force stuff at thrift shops and different things. I think that was like $2, so we sold it there for 10. So. Yeah.
This one was one of those Galileo thermometers you saw us unbox that we refused to ship because it's basically solid liquid, and so we were able to sell one of those at the antique
we
mall.
need to put more there.
So the one thing that's really cool is see all of these, and they have descriptions. We're actually going to go back to Hooked on Pickin, and I know we've got another thing of zombie kittens. I know we got another Galileo thermometer that hasn't sold in the store for a long time. We've got some. We don't have any more. Some of these things is we only had one of, so we won't be able to do that. But like small triangle wooden box, I think we have one more of those.
Yep.
So we're going to actually use these cards to go back to Hooked on Pickin to refill the things that sold. And so that will kind of help us to be able to know, hey, it sold there once. I bet somebody else will want it again. And so that actually is really nice, so we know what to replenish because we get those tags and we have a great description of what it was that they sold. We also get a printout that has a minimal description, not as detailed as our cards, but a minimal description of those things as well. And so that's how we were able to come up with our top 5 very easily.
We haven't gotten. Somebody said you'll get a lot of theft and whatnot. We have not seen that. It's in a really nice area. The police department's not too far from it, so also, I think that might help a little bit too. But
there's also one way in and one way out. You got to walk past the ladies, and they require you as a vendor to check in. And they watch you as you leave. Like, you have to say, hey, this is just packaging material from when I was restocking my building. And they're
good about it, though.
There's
good
like
about it.
2 or 3 ladies. And then the other thing that's really neat, too, is actually not too far from our booth, they have a lost owner's items.
Yeah.
So if a tag comes off, and you're like, wait a minute, I was missing that widget in my booth, and I don't see it anymore, and I didn't see it on my sale list, you can go over to that glass case, and you can go, that's my item, just the tag must have come off. And so, and the ladies will open it up and you can re-tag it and put it back in your booth. And so there is kind of basically a lost and found.
Yeah, I've met a couple of the different owners, and all people pretty much just like us. Just trying to make a little extra money here and there, and really good people. I've been enjoying talking to them.
So if you don't have the ability to like man your own store or do all the shipping, I know a lot of people are like, I can't do that eBay stuff. It's too overwhelming for me. Maybe a flea market in a highly populated area might be the way to go for you. Even if you had to, like, we drive a half hour to the flea market where we're at. So even if you have to drive a little ways.
It's not a flea market, Heather. It's an antique mall.
Antique mall.
They get snippy if we call it the flea market.
Yeah, they do too, yes. But the antique mall. So you might be able to find a place where you can actually rent a booth. And there'll be various different costs for rent for you depending on where you're located. But we felt like it was a reasonable number. Of course, we've been doing this for a while and we already have the inventory. So just a thought for you guys. Another reminder, please share, and subscribe if you're not a subscriber because we would love to get to those next 1,000 levels of subscribers. So we're currently at 92. We'd like to hit 93, 94, and hopefully 100,000 in the very near future. So hopefully you enjoyed this Antique Mall numbers update to see how well we're doing in the Antique Mall. And of course, remember in the end, Jesus wins. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. If you'd like to watch more of my videos, just click on them here. And if you'd like to learn more about the reseller world, subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos. Thanks.